to that episode 314 of A to the Show, traveling around the world, and now we're in Romania with Amir Joy. How's it going? Thank you for
Good,
coming
good,
on the
good. What
show.
about you? Everything's fine.
Um,
Thank you for having me.
I'm really happy to have you on the show. Because I know you. First off, you're really swole. You're a boxer, and then you also write a bunch of books. So, can you tell us a bit
Yeah.
more about the books you write?
Well, right now I've written 7 books. I think 4 are fiction, 3 non-fiction. The fiction books that I write are mainly about Sherlockian. You know, I'm a big Sherlock Holmes fan.
Yeah.
The first story that I've ever read was, I think, Studying Scarlet. The original story from Conan Doyle.
Yes.
And
Oh, wow.
from there on, I just invented a story about Williams Joy, who is the main protagonist in my book. And I try to make something similar to the Victorian era stories, because at the moment, if you read any Sherlock Holmes story or something similar, it doesn't give you the same vibe as the Victorian grammar or spelling, or you know what I'm saying.
Really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
So I
right.
tried to make something similar to that sort of thing. I hope it worked. Most of my readers really enjoyed it, and they said that they got the same vibe. I'm really glad that I did that. The other main non-fiction books that I write, after writing fiction, I decided to read more philosophy books and more books related to like real life and the afterlife and all of that sort of things. And I decided to write about the topic of morality. After reading the book from Christopher Hitchens, God is Not Great, and Professor Robert Sapolsky's book, Behave, the study of human behavior from bad to worse, I think is the title. I may be wrong.
Right. Yeah.
These books really opened my eyes to like see the word in from another perspective. Like,
right.
I essentially realized that I was viewing the world from a tunnel vision without spreading my sight, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to write about morality. It's at the moment is my favorite book, because it took me like 9 months to write. I start from the beginning, from essentially since the good and the bad started, the behavior of you choosing the good or you choosing the bad, going upwards to the Socrates, how the Socrates viewed the morality, then to the philosophical part, from China to India to ancient Greece, all the way to real life at the moment, 21st century philosophers like Sam Harris. And then went to discuss morality from the perspective of the brain and how our brain reacts to moral decisions, and why we choose to take this action and why not this action, and how our hormones affect our decisions and all of this stuff. Afterwards, I only state my opinion, which I think most, if not all, may not like, because it is not a very common perspective to take from my perspective on morality.
All right.
Because I think it's nihilistic a little bit.
Do you wanna tell us? Yeah. Why do you think nihilistically about morality?
Well, because I don't really think there exists a bad and a good. There only exists a survival mode. I really think morality really essentially started because before morality, we only had survival mode. We were only survival. Right. We need to catch some food to eat, let's drink, sleep, and survive for the day. But afterwards, we learned about how to grow our crops, how to store our food, how to do all this stuff. And essentially from there, people had leisure, you know, people had free time. more time to think, more time to
Right.
discuss. And
Mhm.
from there on, people entered what I call comfort mode, where they essentially forgot about survival, you
Yes.
know, and now they discuss about things that aren't really important. But after having a society or a group of people living together, there will be a lot of fights. One
Right.
people stole someone's food, or you know,
Mhm.
so there need to be some rules.
Right.
And
Rules
my
and
personal theory is
Mhm.
that from there on, people invented some rules,
Yes.
whether they're good or whether they're bad,
Mhm.
in order to put people in line for them to survive.
Right.
That this is my like nihilistic idea of
It's true.
morality.
No, I do agree with you because I do feel like a lot of our moral values are kind of made up. We made them all up,
Yeah,
right? None of it's
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of based
I
on
mean, this is
anything.
just an opinion.
Yeah, and but at the same time, I don't know. I wonder if it has evolved into us or has become part of us because we've been this way for thousands of years now at this point, and
Yeah.
um,
Exactly.
I don't know if I know how it works, but natural selection might come to favor those who are more moral or more kinder, right? Because they end up higher in the
Like
status
essentially,
position.
what I think is morality is relative, because in one part of the world, for example, it is a good thing to burn the bodies of dead people. In another place around the world, no, it is prohibited to burn the bodies of other people. We need to bury
Right.
them. It
Mhm.
is really just relative about people's culture, depending on people's culture, depending on people's environment. All of this stuff affects people's decision.
Are there any forms of morality that are constant within all people, like murder
Uh,
or
I think
stealing?
that it is not like a moral thing, but most people act more emotionally or instinctively. They decide their action not based on their prefrontal cortex thinking or rational thinking, more like emotional thinking. Oh, I decided to do this because I felt so, or my gut told me to do so.
Right.
So that's the thing that I think is most common with people regarding morality.
Oh wow. Yeah. That is true. I mean, I guess did you figure
Or
this
another
out?
example that
Yes.
we really don't know what's really going around is like relationships. That
Right.
there are long. Sometimes you wonder why this marriage took so long, why this
Mhm.
marriage just broke up after 3 months or whatever.
Mhm.
Essentially, we have in our bodies vasopressin receptors. Vasopressin is a hormone in our body that is released when we make love to our partner. The
Right.
more vasopressin receptors we have in our body, the more monogamous relationship you are likely to have in your life.
Oh
The
wow.
less receptors you have, the
What?
more polygamous relationship you.
Let
Yeah,
me get myself checked.
exactly. So if you have a lot of
Yeah.
receptors, it means
Hmm.
you'll most likely stay with one person for the rest
Oh
of your
wow.
life.
And where
If
is
you have
this?
less, excuse me.
Start. Where is this in the brain or where is this
No,
receptor?
no.
Is it hormonal? Yeah.
Essentially, hormones are released from
Yeah.
7 glands in our body.
All right.
You know,
Mhm.
and essentially it is released from one of the glands when we make love to our partner, and when it is released, the more receptors that like attach to this hormone you
Yeah.
have, the more likely that you will stay in a relationship with one partner. If you
Uh-huh.
have less receptors, it means the vasopressin hormone will not attach to the receptor and it will not enter the cells and
So
stuff
right. So
like
even
that.
being monogamous and not cheating on a partner, that's now also part of your predetermined
Yeah,
genetics,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So it's something that
Hey,
it's really just
uh,
it's weird,
it
I
is
can say.
weird. Yeah, I do agree. The more I learn about the world, I do see how, because I'm a behavioral psychologist, so I do see how a bunch of life is just genetics and then just predetermined decisions.
Exactly,
But
exactly.
Jordan Peterson has this saying, which is um, act as if God exists. So if you want to have a good life, like you're living, right? But if you want to have a
Yeah,
good life, you want to be the most moral person you can be. Because of course you can live in a life without morality and see that, oh, justify it as
yeah, yeah.
what you're saying, like There is no morality. We don't have to do any good and bad. It's all made up. But
uh,
if you
I,
choose to
I
live the
i
good life,
I kind of like I agree and disagree with the Jordan Peterson sayings, because act as if God is but what God, what, like, does he mean? Does he mean? No, no. I'm
yeah,
not saying like it doesn't exist, but I'm saying
right.
which one, which
Yes, I know what
rules.
you mean. Yes,
Like, you know what I'm meaning?
yes.
Uh, some gods prohibit stuff, other gods make stuff allowed. So it's really a question of, in my personal opinion, rational thinking beforehand, and don't jump into your conclusions, because you really need to think whether this action is rationally good or rationally bad, without being emotional about it.
Mm-hmm.
But after all, we are humans. Our emotions are here for a reason. We can't control them. That's why we act by them, you know. So we don't have to do anything about it.
Oh wow.
That's the book
Mm-hmm.
about morality that I published last September.
Amazing.
I published another non-fiction book related to my journey in losing around 25 pounds for my boxing competition.
Oh wow. How
Yeah,
how long did that take
essentially
you? How long did that take you to lose
one week,
25 pounds?
1 week, 1 week.
How do you lose 25 pounds in a week?
Well, essentially, losing that much amount of weight is really related to dehydration.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
but
mostly
so
water
before
weight.
1 week, like
Yeah.
so like on the seventh day, you drink as much water as you can. Of course, you don't eat like much, maybe one egg per day or whatever. On the sixth day before the weigh-in, you drink like less water until the last day you only drink a sip, and enter the sauna. Go out, put some towels on you until you release all the water from your body. You know.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
essentially, you are
Yes.
really, really, really dehydrated. In the
Mm-hmm.
book, I discuss my state of mind through the whole process, how I got delusional, how I started to see stuff, how my heart started to feel, how I mainly woke up at 3 in the morning, opened my fridge, and just stared at food for like half an hour, and like controlled myself not to take the food and eat it. You know, it was a really hard journey. It also discusses how the amateur boxing world, in mainly in Egypt, is a really bad environment, because essentially the officials, or the let's say the officials don't really care about the players.
Yeah.
For instance, in a moment in the book, I was dehydrated, not just dehydrated. I didn't eat for like 24 hours. We had the weigh-in at 9 o'clock in the morning. We weighed in. Then the officials told us, please wait, because we need to give you the paper related to your boxing matches. We said, okay, the timetable, fine, whatever, 1 hour, 2 hour. But they told us, don't eat, because we might get to play. From 9 in the morning, we stayed until 8 o'clock after in the afternoon, without food and without water, because the officials told us not to drink and not to eat. So essentially, 24 hours plus, I don't know, whatever, 12 hours, it's like 36 hours without food or water.
Yeah.
And we stayed outside in the cold, and they didn't even care about us. The officials were eating sandwiches in front of us, drinking water.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really bad
The weigh-in,
experience.
and this was right before you're supposed to fight, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was a traumatic experience, you know.
Right. Wow. And you definitely want the opposite right before you want to fight, right? You want to feel de-stressed. What
Yeah,
kind of mode do you want to?
exactly. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but right now,
Mhm.
I gave up on my the amateur boxing. At the
All right.
moment, I'm a professional boxer, and
Nice.
will have my first fight in like 1 month or 2 months,
Nice.
hopefully.
All right.
And I can kick it off from there. Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. All right. And
Yeah.
how's the training going for that?
It's really exhausting,
Yeah.
because a lot of running needs to be done, a lot of shadow boxing, a lot of rounds, a lot of prohibited foods, a lot of stress going around. You know, it's besides the work that I do, I need to implement the training too, because boxing is not I'm not making a living out of boxing at the moment. So boxing,
Right.
let's say, is a hobby. So before I can make boxing my main thing, I need to like invest in it beforehand, and it's a risky task because I don't know if it will pay off or not. But I won't regret it because it's something that I love, and hopefully I'll make something with it.
Yeah. How did you start loving boxing? Like what inspired you to get started?
Before boxing, I was playing football, but I had an injury, so I had to stop. And one day, I just watched Muhammad Ali footage, and I instantly thought to myself, "Wow, this man is." It's not about the boxing; it's about the how people looked at him, how people like looked up to him, how people leaned on him for his help. How like you can see a legend, a greatness, you know. And I wanted to be that person. I wanted to be someone my friends, my family, my girlfriend can lean on, you know, someone great, someone that deserves like his position. And from there on, I looked in the mirror and I said, I want to be a champion. And even when I met my trainer, I didn't even say hi or hello. I still remember this moment. I told him, I'm not here to play. I want here to be a champion. And from there on, after 1 year and a half, I became the national champion. And it was a really proud moment for me. You know?
Let's go. Awesome. Hey, that's an awesome inspiration story. And Muhammad Ali is really inspirational. And I just want to know, how do you find the time to do all that working out and then also writing all these books that you write? Because those take a lot of time. And I know, live. Yeah, and balance everything out. Yes.
So it's just hard work. That's all I can say. You know, the issue is that people need to realize that in order for you to do something, you need to sacrifice some other stuff for it. You know, sacrifice going out with your friends, sacrifice like playing on the PlayStation or whatever, sacrifice watching TV, sacrifice watching Netflix in order for you to do something that it may sound big, it may sound hard, it may sound impossible, but eventually, if you really look forward to it, if you envision it every day before sleeping, if you dream of it every day, if you are obsessed with it, obsession is the most important thing, you know. If you're not obsessed with something, you will not have it. And I was obsessed with what I'm doing, and that's why I think I may have succeeded. I think I succeeded. Some might think I didn't, but I envisioned myself doing something, and I still see myself being a champion one day, and hopefully this dream will come true. But the main thing is that sacrification is a main thing if you want to achieve something, and many sleepless nights.
Right.
That's all.
Sacrifice. I mean, that's it. A lot of people want to achieve greatness, but it's really
don't want to work hard.
They want to work hard or sacrifice. Yeah.
If it was hard, if it was that easy, everybody would do it, as they say.
I guess so, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Also, I want to know more about.
Also, related to the books, I published my recent book, Controversial Veracities, the 29th of May. It talks about like some legends or myths that people still believe in, but are unfortunately not true. For instance, that we only are capable of thinking with 10% of our brain's power, or like we only think with either the left or the right brain, or about homosexuality, that homosexuality is a choice. I'm not homosexual, by the way.
All right. But, you want to so it's not a choice. Is it part of the brain?
I don't remember the exact parts of the brain for homosexuals, but homosexuals are born for the men have a part of the brain. I think it's called nucleus accumbens, if I'm not mistaken. Men have it larger, but women have it like smaller.
Yes.
Homosexuals have it like the women. So
I
that's
see.
that size of the women.
Mhm.
So that explains, and not just this part of the brain. I believe there are 4 parts. I don't remember because I've written the book
Right.
some time ago.
Yes.
But anyone can go back to the book and read it, and he will know what I'm talking about, or
Yes.
what I'm referring to. But what I'm essentially saying is that it is genetic. Homosexuals are genetically born this way, to act that way. However, I am not a pro LGBT people going around saying, "Oh, I'm homosexuals," men wearing makeup and walking around and being proud. I don't like this stuff. I'm just stating that homosexuality is just a matter of is a genetical factor, nothing more.
Right. Because I mean, when you're breaking it down, because it's morality has a lot to do with your brain and genetics and the way you think, and it all really ties in together. Sometimes you think someone's doing something that's wrong or not normal, but in reality, it is normal because that's how their brain works. That's how they think and behave. It is really interesting.
Yeah.
And anything else you found out about in that book?
A controversial topic is free will.
All right.
Most people think we have free will.
Uh-huh.
It is kind of related to the topic of morality because, as you said, the monogamous, polygamous relationships, how hormones affect us, how bacteria in our guts affect what we choose to eat. All of this stuff affect our decision, our everyday decisions. So the topic of free will is a really delicate topic.
Yes.
Robert Sapolsky referred to free will as the biology that we haven't discovered yet, and I am standing beside his side because I believe that is true, and we still are infants when it comes to understanding understanding free will. But hopefully in the upcoming years we will understand it more and more and more, because we have a lot of evidence, a lot of stuff that we can provide that can put us in doubt in the topic of free will.
Wow. I mean, it's incredible, I think, for science, but I also think for people, like, I don't believe in free will, but I think that most people, if you tell them they have no free will, they're just gonna say, "This is who I am. I can't take ownership of this and change who I am."
Oh no, I thought by myself. I chose this because I wanted this, but no one really knows what's going on inside his brain.
Yeah.
So it's a really delicate topic.
So what do you think is going on in the brain? Do you think there's anything other than the brain, or do you think it's just the brain?
I think there are a lot of synapses going around. I think there are a lot of hormones. I think there are a lot of environmental issues going around. For instance, epigenetics. People say, Lamarck. You have been taught at school about Lamarck.
No.
Lamarck and Darwin.
All right.
Darwin is the one that discovered evolution or whatever. Lamarck said that evolution progresses not genetically, but like from the environment. Like if a giraffe could extend its neck every day, and it eventually will extend, it can pass on its genes, and its son or children will have a long neck. So Lamarck essentially said environment affects evolution. Darwin negated this and said, no, it is people. Children are genetically modified, and that's why the children that are genetically mutated survive more and stuff like that. However, recently epigenetics went out, and we have discovered that no, environment also affects our evolution.
Nice. For instance, that, Darwin.
Let's say, for instance, your mother was under a lot of stress when she was pregnant with you.
Hey, don't talk
Uh,
about my mother. I'm just kidding.
le- just
Just kidding. Yes,
just
she
for
was
an
under
example,
stress. I'm sure she
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but I'm saying like a lot of chronic, like high chronic stress.
Yes, yes, yes.
When she was with you, there is like a 99% chance that you and your child will have the same amount of stress.
Oh wow, that's I mean true, right? Because it's
Mm.
genetic. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So this is environmental stuff that affected you and and your future child.
Oh
You
wow,
know.
I see.
So yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
wow. Well, it goes very deep. I want to know a little bit more about why you like Sherlock Holmes so much. Is it because he is morally ambiguous? Do you think he has morals or morality?
Uh,
Yes.
sorry, there someone
No,
tried to
you're
call
good.
me.
No worries.
I think because his not carefree. What I'm trying to say is his wisdom,
He's a cool guy.
his
Yeah.
yeah, something like that. Like he knows stuff that people don't. He wasn't a foolish guy. He was a wise guy. He knew what he was doing in his life. He knew he was a independent guy. You know.
Yeah.
Maybe because I started reading Sherlock Holmes since I was a child. That's why I started to look up to him and try to be a person, an independent person, and to like since I read him, I read the Sherlock Holmes. I realized that intelligence isn't like maybe it isn't something we are born with, but something we evolve through our readings, through our experiences, through our habits, through our whatever we do in life. It either makes us more intelligent or less intelligent. So I think reading Sherlock Holmes helped me realize that being an independent person really depends on you and you only, and you are someone that chooses what you do in your life, not whether your father or your mother or your friends tell you or do, but depending on your rationality and decisions, you know.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Yeah. I mean, Sherlock Holmes is a great character, and I want to know, is
I
it
mean, I don't
different?
like
What?
there are a lot of versions of Sherlock Holmes, but the Sherlock Holmes that I'm talking about the Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes, the original Sherlock
Original
Holmes, you know.
books. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have read some of those books. I don't know. They're really creative books, and Sherlock Holmes is really, I mean, really
Yeah.
creative,
I can send you
smart guy.
the my book, the Sherlockian book, the fictional book. Sherlock Holmes. I can give my your opinion on
Oh no,
whether it reminds you of it or not.
sure, yeah, no, that I would love to read
Yeah,
them after this. Yeah, sounds good.
yeah, yeah.
I want to know, is it different writing a creative book than a nonfiction book, and how is the writing
Is
process
that
different for you?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's very different. When I'm writing fiction books, I just stay on my laptop and the words just come out of my head
Mhm.
into my keyboard, you know. But if I'm writing a non-fiction book, I need to really make sure what I'm writing is the truth, and really look up the references, because I don't want to make my readers, excuse me, read something that isn't correct or isn't true. They
Mhm.
have all the references at the end of the book. They can check for themselves whether the information I give is true or not, whether the information I give is reliable or not. So writing non-fiction books is a really exhausting task, because it is really exhausting because there is a huge amount of research that needs to be done if I want to explain something really delicate or important. It's not
Right.
as easy, and yeah, it's really exhausting. Besides non-fiction books are just as taking a candy from a kid, as
Yeah,
the proverb.
it's more creative, right? And the other one's
Yeah, yeah,
more.
yeah.
I see. I see. So I guess you prefer writing the nonfiction books than to the fiction ones. Yeah.
Non-fiction because it's harder and it takes a lot of courage to write non-fiction books.
All right.
Yeah.
So between that and then the boxing, what is like? What are the moments where you feel like the most alive or the most passionate about your work?
I think my writings,
Yeah.
because my books will stay forever. people will learn from my books. I'm talking about my non-fiction books at the moment. I took a lot of time to write my books.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
And another reason is that on my last book, I dedicated the last book for my girlfriend. It is a dedication that will stay forever. I can't take that back. So it is also related to something emotional, something that will stay forever and on, and something that I decided not to regret. The words inside my books will surely and hopefully make people realize and think about new stuff, open their sights behind their back and look at and think, oh, I didn't know that I really need to read a lot more about this topic or that topic or whatever. So I think my non-fiction books are really more important than my boxing at the moment, because it will help maybe next generations learn more.
All right, and I guess that's kind of your motivation, right? To help spread knowledge and give valuable knowledge, and
yeah.
So why is that so important for you to gather the knowledge and then spread it? Yeah.
Because I will try not to offend anyone, because it is hard for me to
It's fine.
No, it's related.
There are a lot of stupid people. There are a lot of stupid people, so they need to learn.
No, not this. The society I was born in, unfortunately, it's indoctrinated. They have, since they are a child, things are put inside their heads and make them believe some stuff. I was this way until I reached the age of rationality, as George Carlin would say. So I want to help these kind of people that really have a doubt in their head but can't reach it, to tell them, look, read this, open your insights, and you will have your answer. That's all.
All right. I mean, that's awesome, and that's the best way. I guess one of the best ways to do it is through reading books. Or I also think, I'm a filmmaker. I think watching movies and listen to music is another great way, right? Culture and art.
Exactly.
Why do you think it's a better way to write a book as opposed to doing protests and saying, hey, this is dumb, listen to me?
I'm not in favor of protests, because maybe unfortunately the world isn't aligned as we want. One person wants something, the other wants another, so we can't come together to agree on one thing. Protest may beget revolution may beget war or civil war. Civil wars may beget a lot of blood. So I don't really am in favor of protests and stuff like that. Maybe with words and wise words, maybe people will understand, but unfortunately some people are too stubborn to think otherwise, and it is unfortunate, but it is true.
Oh wow. Amir, you've said a lot of controversial things this episode. Writing a book about morality itself is controversial.
It's not about saying.
Sorry,
I don't think it's about. I don't think it's about saying controversial things. It's about being direct and honest. I'm just saying what's inside, what's in my head, and what I'm thinking about, and what people are thinking about but are too afraid to say.
Yes.
That's all.
All right, amazing. So I want to know, what do you think is the greatest issues of the world right now? If you had to say it, because you thought about the world as a whole, what do you think we should all together work on? Yeah.
It's a really hard topic, because the main thing revolving around the world right now is the one thing: money. We can't come to an agreement, unfortunately. This is the truth. I will not say a I forgot the word.
Mhm.
Whatever. I will not say any lies
All right.
because, or try to invent a solution, because unfortunately I don't think there is a solution for us
What?
to come to an agreement. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, look at the truth. Look at the wars that uh, happened in the centuries that
Right. For
passed us.
money.
Yeah, for money, for property, for whatever.
Right.
Even till this day, people kill each others for whatever, for $100 bill or $1 bill.
Mhm.
People won't come to an agreement because the world we live in today revolves around money,
Mhm.
and the subject of money will never fade. At least in the before I die, or you know.
Right. True.
So during my lifetime, I don't think people will come to an agreement.
Mhm.
People may try to make things better and
What do
help
you
each
think is
other.
the major disagreement with money? So you say the money is a big problem with the world right
Uh,
now. How do you think it's ruining the world? Yes.
People, once someone gets something, people that someone will want more and more and more and more. Greediness. It's a really sad thing, but
Mhm.
people suffer from it. Even if one says, "Oh, I'm not greedy" or whatever, he will be greedy. Or
Yeah.
1 in 5 people is greedy. So greediness, I think, is the main thing that determined whether we can come to an agreement or not. You
Wow.
know.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. I mean, a lot of people are greedy, and it is true. You see the world right now. All the rich people are just
Yeah.
getting sucking up all the money, and then the rest of us are just left with not too
Exactly.
much. Yeah.
I think
Mhm.
there was a statistic that said that the first 50 billionaires or something like that, or millionaires, were richer than 50% of the world, or 50% of Africa. You know,
Right. Yeah.
do you realize this number?
Yes, that's a lot.
Can you imagine it? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot.
It's
That's a
yeah.
lot.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm more hopeful. I like to believe that if you hope for a better future, it's at least there's an option for a better future and it's something worth fighting
We
for.
can hope, but if
Yeah,
we don't do any action, we won't arrive to any conclusion.
conclusion. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's with everything, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Ah, all right. So, how do you see morality? How has it evolved throughout the years, and what do you think? Where do you think it's going from here?
I think at the moment people will act based on their feelings. They won't, because our generations are really, I think, it's a sad generation to see. Everyone really at the moment only cares about money, drugs, how many cars do you have, how many girls do you have, how many whatever do you have. Have you listened to the top 100 songs on Spotify?
Yeah, and
All of
that's the
them
reflection of the culture,
are on
right?
the topic of drugs. Every
Yeah,
song right now that comes out is the topic of drugs, money, fame, women, or whatever. And the children that grow up with these kind of music, and these kinds of influencers or YouTubers or whatever, without that don't do not spread any useful information besides
mhm,
having fun, having leisure, going out, or having less responsibility. It's a sad thing to see, because we can change the future. We can make YouTube, YouTube, if YouTube stops recommending these kind of videos and
right.
only recommends useful informational videos or educational videos more and more. But it won't happen because YouTube cares about the money.
Yes,
YouTube knows that children watch these kinds of videos because it will generate them millions and millions of dollars. Children wouldn't watch educational videos because it gets boring. But it's sad, but it is true. We can change this stuff. Maybe me and you can tell, I know, 20 people can change. But what can 20 people do with the
right.
7 billion people around the world? You know?
That's true. No, it's true. But yeah, I do think, I mean, artists have responsibility. And I think that there are also artists that can change the world and do things that are educational and also entertaining and take control of the cultural narrative.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
hopefully one day you make a book that does take hold of the cultural narrative, and
hopefully,
um,
hopefully,
and someday our
hopefully.
podcast might do the same.
Yeah, yeah, hopefully.
Well, thank you so much, Amir. I really appreciate your time. You're kind of running out of
No
time.
problem. Thank you very much for having me too.
This is an awesome podcast. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, thank you, thank you,
Awesome
thank
books, and I'll definitely check out one of your
you,
books.
thank you,
And
thank
definitely check out his books, link in bio, if you're listening and you're interested for more. Amir, is there anything you want to shout out or let the world know
you.
before we wrap up?
Just thank you for having me, and hopefully people will learn something new from this podcast, from this episode.
I'm
And
sure they will.
yeah, 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 and that's all.
Check it out, A2 The Show in Romania, the most international, most diverse, most educational entertainment podcast. Here we go, signing out. See you later.